The target looked older than in the photographs. The glow from the streetlight accentuated the deep lines in his face and pallid, almost sickly complexion. To Victor, the man seemed on edge, either high on nervous energy or maybe just too much caffeine. But whatever the explanation, it wasn't going to matter 30 seconds from now. The name on the dossier was Andris Ozils, Latvian national, 58 years old, 5 feet 9 inches tall, 160 pounds. He was right-handed, no noticeable scars. His graying hair was cut short and neat, as was his mustache. His eyes were blue. Ozils wore glasses for short-sightedness. He was smartly dressed, a dark suit beneath his overcoat, polished shoes. With both hands he clutched a small leather attaché case to his stomach. At the entrance to the alleyway, Ozils glanced over his shoulder. An amateurish move. Too obvious to trip up a shadow, too quick to register one if he did. In Victor's experience, people often paid more attention to what could be behind them than to what lay ahead. Ozils didn't see the man standing in the shadows just a few yards away. The man who was there to kill him. Victor waited until Ozils had passed out of the light before squeezing the trigger with smooth, even pressure. Suppressed gunshots interrupted the early morning stillness. Ozils was hit in the sternum, twice, in rapid succession. The bullets were low-powered, subsonic 5.7 millimeter, but larger rounds could have been no more fatal. Copper-encased lead tore through skin, bone, and heart before lodging side by side between vertebrae. Ozils collapsed backward, hitting the ground with a dull thud, arms outstretched, head rolling to one side. Victor melted out of the darkness and took a measured step forward. He angled the FN-57 and put a bullet through Ozils' temple. He was already dead, but in Victor's opinion there was no such thing as overkill. The expended cartridge clinked on the paving stones and came to rest in a puddle shimmering with sodium orange light. A quiet whistling from the twin bullet holes in Ozils' chest was the only other sound. Air was escaping from the still inflated lungs. The last breath he never had a chance to release. The morning was cold and dark, the approaching dawn only beginning to tinge the eastern sky with color. Victor was in the heart of Paris, a neighborhood of narrow avenues and twisting side streets. The alleyway was secluded, no overlooking windows, but Victor spent a moment checking that nobody had observed the killing. No one could have heard it. With subsonic ammunition and a suppressor, the noise of each shot had been muffled to a quiet clack. But that couldn't stop the random chance of someone deciding this particular location was a good place to relieve their bladder. Satisfied he was alone, Victor squatted down next to the body, careful to avoid the gore draining from the quarter-inch exit wound in his victim's temple. Using his left hand, Victor unzipped the attaché case and checked inside.